Is there a global conspiracy behind the science of climate change? Thousands of leaked emails and documents suggest just that.
Confidential emails from scientists show that climate change data has been fiddled. They allege scientists have been cooking the books to support the view that the global warming is caused by human activity rather than a naturally occurring phenomenon.
Well, meanwhile, some of the world's leading climate scientists have been embarrassed by the publication of hundreds of private emails and research documents.
The global warming controversy, that is heating up as well after hackers have made public some of these sensitive emails.
We are talking about hundreds of emails and documents spanning just about a decade here among prominent climate scientists, and they had been hacked, as you mentioned, fanning really debate over whether some scientists might have exaggerated their case for man-made climate change.
The UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says he and many other scientists do not see global warming as a developing catastrophe, and that there is no smoking gun proving that human activity is to blame for the warming that does occur. John Christie is the director of the Earth System Science Center at the University of Alabama at Huntsville. He and thousands of others on the UN panel share half the Nobel Prize, also awarded to Al Gore. But he says he cringes when he hears 100-year weather forecasts when it is incredibly difficult to accurately predict the weather 5 days from now. He writes in the Wall Street Journal, quote, "Mother Nature simply operates at a level of complexity that is at this point beyond the mastery of mere mortals, such as scientists, and the tools available to us." He points out that a recent CNN report on climate change made much of the shrinking Arctic sea ice cover, but did not mention that winter sea ice around Antarctica set a record maximum last month.
What specifically in these emails indicates that the science was wrong or that the science was manipulated?
Well, what I read, Simon, was that they excluded information that was given to them by scientists like McIntyre and McKittrick. They were actually on the IPCC at one time. They quit because their views were not expressed in the IPCC reports. That's what I call manipulation, Simon.
The university admits they were hacked last week. They admit the emails are real.
Do you feel like these emails in some way substantiate what you've been arguing for years?
That's precisely what they are. They're being miscast as revelations. In fact, they are all affirmations, none out of context, all posted in full context, including entire email threads, affirming the specifics of the actions that we have been describing, including falsifying data, including falsifying the data of the entire premise for the IPCC process, the Kyoto Treaty, the Kyoto II Treaty, cap and trade, EPA's actions, and so on, all of which, for the U.S. perspective, must be stayed until the truth is outed here. We do need an investigation. If this is only possibly being taken out of context and there is some discretion over what they might mean, in fact, they are affirming everything a lot of people, including many, many scientists, including some in the refereed literature, have been making quite clear for years is going on.
All the key UN data comes from this source that is fraudulent. They would not show the public their data and fought to keep it secret. This is scientific fraud and persecution of scientists that told the truth. We need a real investigation. Why all the fraud? What's the goals of the fraud?
Newspapers over in Great Britain, they said that this is the greatest scientific scandal of our generation. There have to be some legitimate investigations. I'm not sure how unbiased Penn State University is going to be, since one of their people is involved in it. I'm not sure how the East Anglia group is going to do. How objective can they be in an investigation when it's their top scientist, or the scientist that has been giving them most of the science, is involved. So I think if there is real objective investigation, I think that there could even be some criminal violations.
There are serious questions about some of the scientific references in the hacked emails, which skeptics claim debunk the notion of a consensus on climate change, such as this statement by a leading American atmospheric scientist, Dr. Kevin Trenberth, who wrote about temperatures plateauing in 2008. The fact is we can't account for the lack of warming at the moment, and it is a travesty that we can't.
I'm worried that these guys have been committed to a theory that is falling to bits, and privately they admit that it's got problems, but publicly they're pushing the world to adopt a massive reorganisation of the way we do business.
Other emails discuss suppressing data. East Anglia University's Professor Phil Jones wrote in 2005 that If they ever hear there is a Freedom of Information Act now in the UK, I think I'll delete the file rather than send it to anyone.
What we see is some of the world's top climate scientists, the ones most involved in developing this theory, involved in a massive collusion stretching from America to Britain in trying to fiddle with data, destroy data when others try to check it.
Now back to those hacked emails and the documents. We also want to point out that it suggests that some scientists pressured journals not to publish work of those who question whether the Earth is in fact warming.
Here's a key article out of the AP. Hacker-leaked emails stoke climate debate. The headline should be, emails admit pattern of persecution by UN and top university heads against scientists that question climate data.
You won't know about this yet because it's been kept out of the public domain, the New Zealand National Climate Database, and I had the figures here, all fraudulent. When are you all going to wake up? Scam, scam, scam.